Emperor Kuzco is turned into a llama by his ex-administrator Yzma and must now regain his throne with the help of Pacha, the gentle llama herder.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Luis,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 24.
wow, this podcast is almost as old as me. Because I'm 25.
you a child.
Always has to be about you, Michelle.
Cusco! No, it's always about Cusco.
Right.
See?
We
This is a
haven't
very-
even done one episode of Cusco. How could it always be about him?
It's about Cusco.
It's about Cusco.
This is
It's
going
always
to be
about
a
me.
very conceited podcast because we are talking about the Emperor's New Groove.
Yay.
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 What? No.
What?
This
Yeah.
movie-
I'm tired.
Oh, okay. That better be why you did the... Because this movie is amazing. Andre, we can start with you. First impressions.
I heart this movie.
I wish you
This-
could see his face right now.
This movie is so much fun.
I wish you would have
Luis,
watched it with
stop.
him because he was cackling.
I was giggling my little butt off.
He was literally like this. Like to everything.
All right, I negate that last sentiment. But yeah, this movie's super duper fun, and it's kind of like refreshing to have like a pure comedy out of a Disney film, because like most of them are pretty funny, but like this one,
There's no like major heartache or
Right.
like
Yeah.
love story where
there's
you're like,
there's no tearjerker in this movie, and that's
There is a squirrel.
there are squirrels.
and squirrels are tear jerkers.
Yep.
Yeah, you know the last movie
Yeah.
we watched with the squirrel.
Oh,
we
yeah.
all- We all
Mhm.
almost cried.
Don't piss this
Sword in the
squirrel
Stone.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't piss this
Yeah.
squirrel off.
This squirrel's cool.
Okay, so my first impressions of this movie are I'm pretty sure this must have at least been the 30th time I've seen this movie.
Oh my lord.
Because this was one of those movies that my younger sister watched frequently. Like, by frequently, I mean like every day. So I have this movie memorized, and it's still as funny as I remember it being, and I absolutely love it. Which is funny because usually I don't like kind of slapstick comedy, which this is more slapsticky than a lot of other Disney movies, but I really, really like it.
Emily.
This is my second time watching this movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You've hardly ever seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And both times she watched it with me.
Well, we had
Yeah.
to make that point.
So someone actually saw it more than me, and that would be Luis.
Oh.
That's probably the first on this podcast that he has seen
that
something more
probably
than
is,
me.
yeah.
I've watched it all of 3 times.
See, so he wins me by
Wow.
one.
One whole time.
Big difference between 2 and 30.
You know, there's a big difference between 2 and 1 for me.
Mhm.
We'll get into qualms
Oh, cool.
Oh,
later,
no.
Got
but
friends.
I will say I liked it better this time
Oh, okay.
than I liked it the first time.
I'll
Gotcha.
take it.
That's
So
all
I'm
I
glad that we didn't do like a what's your last impression the first time you saw it? Because, yeah. Anyhow.
All
Lou.
right, Luis.
Third time's charm.
It's very, very difficult at first.
Okay.
I literally want to throw stuff at my TV.
Oh.
Because you don't like David Spade?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Oh.
We'll talk about that. But the movie's just very difficult at first.
Okay.
Okay, but then it tends to even out at the end. So,
Interesting.
Well, this is going to be a fun one, guys.
Yeah.
It's always fun when we disagree with each other.
Arguments.
I mean,
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
just gonna compare it to this. If you guys know me,
Old man negative.
yes, I hate.
Hold on. Wait for this. Like, you two know this comparison, and when you hear Luis say this, you're gonna be like, "Okay, you ready?"
Okay.
Okay, guys. So for those of you who don't know, I hate Olaf.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
yeah, he does.
I hate Olaf
From Frozen.
from Frozen. Like I would shine one of those heaters on him in the dead of winter
Whoa.
so he can melt.
Okay.
I despise
He
him.
would whack his head off with his own carrot nose.
Oh.
I despise him.
Interesting.
I will put a dynamite in place of his.
Oh wow,
carrot
we're getting
nose.
we're
Man.
getting
Hey,
really.
listeners, you want to vote for us to watch Frozen?
Okay, so what's the point?
You
Lou?
want to vote for me not being on a podcast?
Whoa.
Anyways, let's get back to this. The first 30 or so minutes of this movie, I never thought I'd ever hate anybody as much as I hate Olaf.
And who is it?
Cuzco.
It's Kuzco.
Cuzco.
And legitimately,
Hate him.
I go, more than Gene. And Luis
More
goes,
than Gene. And
more than Gene.
Gene from
Wreck-It
Ralph.
Ralph.
You hate him more than Gene?
You guys know how I feel about that first floor martini. Okay?
Luis
I
needs
hate
a
him.
new top 5. It's the top 5 people he hates the most.
So far, we got a 3. We're working on 5.
All
ladies and
right,
gents.
good to know.
And number 1 would definitely be Cuzco. The first 30 minutes. Of this
Okay,
movie.
so let's talk about Kuzco, because I wrote down, and I didn't like realize this until like later in the movie. It was when Kuzco was like spitting on the fire that Pacha was making, like when they were like stranded out
my
there.
God.
And I was just like, he is the worst. He is extremely unlikable. Kuzco is what's a proper word?
Conceited?
He's a jerk.
Yeah,
He's a big old
I have choice words.
jerk.
I have choice words. Luis literally about that same time was saying, wow, I don't know if there's any other Disney movie where I hate the main character.
Right.
Because
That's
a
the
lot
thing.
of those other movies, like Olaf, Olaf is not supposed to be a hated character.
No.
Luis,
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that
Not
out there.
unlikable.
Pretty sure you said it.
Even if you didn't like him, he's not the main character. Gene is supposed to be unlikable, not the main character.
Right.
I mean, Wreck-It Ralph is supposed to be quote unquote unlikable, but you like him.
Exactly.
Guys.
And poor Cusco over here, not even poor
Kuzco is he's a piece of work. He's something else.
I have choice words for him, and the choice words are chip face. Because have you looked at a picture of his face? It's in the shape of a Dorito.
He has a very pointy face.
So he
Hey,
looks like Phineas
that
from
has-
Phineas and Ferb.
Got nothing
Yeah.
on Phineas.
Whoa, he's an ancient
Ancient
of
Phineas.
Phineas.
Well, he's a Mesopotamian.
You're all wrong. He's an Incan.
Yeah, he's Incan.
Just kidding. No, in the song, and it says something Mesopotamia.
Historically inaccurate.
Well,
It
They
doesn't
should've
say
done
that
their
he's in
homework better.
Mesopotamia though, because he's in Peru, and Mesopotamia's in
Yeah.
like
The Middle East.
Right.
Yeah,
So very inaccurate, disappointed Disney researchers.
they went
Well-
from one extreme to the other. Let's talk about Coco and how much research they did there with the chanclas and the tamales
Well-
and the grandmas.
That's a stereotype. There's not much research behind stereotypes. But anyways,
the point
They're hilarious,
is,
though.
you guys do
Chunkle
not
research.
like Cusco at the beginning of this movie.
I don't like Cusco at any point. Of
I
this
could
movie.
I
No?
can't think of any other movie I've ever seen where you hate the main character at first.
Well, yeah, it's
Right.
because you're supposed to see a juxtaposition of his character at the end, which I actually
I still hate.
Andre wrote this, and I actually agree with this. It's interesting that he's narrating the movie.
Yes.
You know, they break the fourth wall a lot in this. He's narrating the movie, and you would think usually the narrator's already at the end of the story. They already know what's
Yes.
happened.
well,
but
he stops
he's-
narrating halfway through.
Yes. He's
Yeah,
not
because
narrating
he's
from-
not. The story's not finished yet, so I think that's really interesting.
He hasn't learned his lesson at the point where he's narrating. He's
Right.
still like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest.
So he's still a
everybody else
conceited
sucks.
narrator, especially when they like zoom in on Pacha. You know, when Pacha's
It's
all
about this
sad.
guy,
Yeah.
not this guy.
Yeah,
He circles
like,
himself.
circles himself in
So
the
I
back.
think we're forgetting the point. This is about me, not him. Like, so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that this conceitedness is comical.
Right.
Oh, it
It's very funny how unlikable he is. When
Nah.
when he throws that old man off of
You
the
threw off
roof.
my groove.
I'm sorry.
Well, you know it's. But here's the deal: is it funny that he threw him off, or is it funny the way the dude reacts?
It's very funny the way the dude reacts.
Because
That's true.
personally, I do not think it's funny that he threw this elderly man
That's
out
true.
of a window
Sure.
hundreds of feet up.
Yeah.
That it's funny that the guy is like, oh, threw off his groove. I've
Threw
been-
off his groove.
And didn't he say he's like a rebel or something? Like, I mean, I have been known to throw off some grooves or something
Yeah.
like that. So it's more funny
Don't
that
throw off his groove.
it's more funny the way he
throw off
reacts.
his groove.
Yes. All the reactions to Kuzco are, I suppose, yeah, that's the funny
Well,
stuff.
and I like that whole the
He's not
intro
funny.
song.
That's true.
I'm sure you guys don't agree, but I like the intro song because it's funny.
It
Like
is
everything
funny.
he does, or he's just sitting on his chair and he like clinks the boat, and then they feed him, and then he wipes his head. He's like, "Man, it's hard work." I'm like, "No, you did nothing." I'm like, "Come on, dude."
It is funny, but I think that I already hated him so much that I couldn't like laugh because I
Right.
was already like steaming. I was
Yeah.
fuming. I'd like,
Fuming.
"Ugh, I hate you." And I
Yeah.
didn't like the singer. I
Tom
didn't like
Jones?
No.
Theme song guy.
The theme song guy.
Theme song guy was played by Tom Jones.
Well, it's not that I don't like Tom Jones. I didn't like the animated theme song
okay.
guy.
Oh,
I didn't like
how
it.
he
His
looked.
little version of him.
He was
Okay.
like a little Elvis of Peru. I don't know. It was
What's
just
his name?
I didn't dig it, but it was, I can see where the comical points are. But here's
Yeah.
the deal. It's so funny. I know we haven't talked about this movie, but I thought to myself, and I remember you saying that Kylie watched this a lot growing up. So you know this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's my Hercules, where I watched it every single
Ah.
day. Every time I could, I would be watching this VCR on replay, right?
Hercules,
Yes.
Hercules.
Oh, that was me, right? And so I think about it, and everyone always gives the Muses a hard time about not being historically accurate to the time period and everything, whatever.
I love the Muses.
Right? Oh, I think
Love
like
'em.
had I watched this as a kid, I probably would have been like, I don't care. Theme song guy's fantastic.
Right.
So it's like your kid side's just like whatever. Like
Sure.
your kid side doesn't give two
no.
flyings.
My kid's
Yeah.
side quoted
ribs.
this movie all day, every day, and it surprised me when we watched it again how much I still quoted it.
Remember.
To the point where I literally remembered the order of the squeakity squeak
Stop!
squeaking. Like I literally,
Squeaking?
when he was talking to the squirrel, he's like, "Oh, squeakity squeak." Squeaking, like I literally was doing it, and at the end when they're like
Squeak.
squeak squeakity squeak squeaking, like I was doing the whole thing. I'm like, that's ridiculous that I remember that. Luis is staring me down.
Ah!
Well, it's hard to forget 3 syllables.
No, but
So-
you don't know what order those
Wow.
squeaks came in.
Did you just hear that? It was like shots fired, Lou.
You trying to say you speak squirrel?
Luis is fluent in squirrel.
Actually, it's funny you say that
Why?
because I am.
What?
No, you're not.
What?
No, actually,
Let's
sad
get a
story.
squirrel in here.
Squirrels just despised me when I was in high school because I drove a '64 Chevy, and that's like a megaton vehicle.
Okay.
And whenever I used to drive to work, squirrels would always pass by the road, and
You
they
squish
stood no
'em?
chance over my Chevy.
Oh
So
no!
you
And it was
ran
it was
squirrels
It
over.
was
Murder.
accidental every time. It was
How many
accidental.
times did you run over
Murder.
squirrels?
I need to go to work. They cross the road. It's not my fault.
Damn Livingston squirrels.
Not
Well.
his fault.
Nope.
You're a squirrel killer.
So you're a Cusco.
No, I'm very likable.
Stepping on
actually.
people.
I'm very likable, he says.
Na, old man negative.
Pretty sure it took everybody who listened to this podcast all of 5 minutes to like me the first episode. So.
Wow.
Unlike Kuzco.
Okay,
You
hold
got a
on. We
big
got to
head.
back
He got
up.
some feedback
Tell
from y'all,
him
and
why
now
he
it's
has
going to his head.
Tell us why you have a big head, Luis, because you keep getting compliments. People are like, "Oh, he's my favorite."
I love Luis.
Apparently, I am.
Again, you sound like, oh no, he not here.
Oh no.
Really, guys, I'm just
Toulouse.
riding a wave here,
Toulouse.
but apparently I'm like the funniest one and the most likable one, which I think all you are nuts for.
Nobody
thinking
said
so.
you were the most likable. They said they liked you the most.
Sure. Like,
Whoa.
Wow.
They taking it back now.
I know.
That's cool. It's all right.
That's cool. He's like, this is the first time I've been the most liked person in the room. Yay.
It actually is.
I mean, besides the day we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And then ever since then.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well, let's talk about the most likable things in this movie since we're talking about the
Yes,
most likable
yes,
person.
yes,
Hold
yes.
on, no, let me
Let's
do
all
it.
say it
okay.
on the count of 3. Our most favorited thing in this movie. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Kronk.
Llamas.
Shut
wait,
up.
What did you say?
We all said Kronk. What did you
Llamas.
say?
Llamas.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, Kronk is the best thing of this movie.
Kronk is amazing.
Kronk. Kronk
I love
all
Kronk.
day long.
Eddie, do you
Kronk
like Kronk?
all day, every day.
And here's the deal. Yzma and Kronk.
Are the
Yzma.
best.
She's hilarious.
Hilarious.
That duo
I
is
pretty much-
funny, guys.
Well, and it's funny because the whole time we were watching it, I mean, she's pretty damn evil. Excuse my
Right.
language. Oh my gosh. She's pretty dang evil, but she gets in on his ridiculousness.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts is when they're in Pacha's house. They have gone back. Well, I mean, we'll talk all through it.
Sure.
But they go back to Pacha's house, and they're trying to wait for him. And Kronk's in there playing double dutch with the
With the
kids.
kids.
And
99
Yzma
monkeys
jumps
jumping
in.
on
Yes.
it.
She jumps in playing double dutch. It's like,
And
you're
then she's
7
playing patty cake while they're double dutching
I'm like, you're
and
700
discussing
years
her evil plan.
It's fantastic. She totally plays along with the ridiculousness of this
And
whole
I-
nature.
And I'm going to agree. Like, Kuzco's Kuzco. He's doing his Kuzco thing. But Yzma and Kronk make the movie.
100%.
Everything that comes out of Kronk's mouth is so hilarious just we can maybe we should go around and say our favorite Kronk scene because I got very specific favorite Kronk scene.
Yes,
and
let's do that.
Okay. My favorite Kronk scene is when they're in their secret lair and they invite Kuzco over after Yzma gets fired, and he's like baking. He's baking
spinach puffs.
All right, and so he's mixing the drink with
My
the poison. Hey, this is my story. He's shaking the drink. He's mixing it, and he's like, oh. Right, like he's supposed to poison, but then he smells something burn. He's like, "Oh, my spinach puffs!" And he just runs away. And then he comes back, and then Yzma's like, "Hello," he's supposed to. He's all, right, okay. And then the best face he makes is when Yzma's really mad at him and something, and she's like, "And I never liked your spinach puffs." And he's like, has a little droopy lip, and he's gonna cry.
Those are two completely different scenes.
I know, but they're both spinach puff related.
Spinach puffs.
So my favorite,
they're puff related.
That's my favorite.
Tissue.
That's my favorite Kronk moment. Freaking hilarious. Just the way he says "right." And who's the voice of him again? I always forget his name.
Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburton, and he's also the guy that does the intro on
Soarin'
Soarin'.
over California.
Yeah,
Or the world
now.
The world,
but,
yeah. Soarin' over the world.
but he does the little intro thing,
And you
I'm
have
always
to
like,
stow away those little beauties.
but every time he comes on, I'm like, "There's Kronk. I love Kronk."
He's
I
Kronk.
think Kronk and Yzma both give the best performances, like vocal performances in
Oh,
this movie.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Kronk especially. There's this,
His voice is made for acting. Like, that
this
dude was
scene-
born acting.
there's a scene right before he's tossing Kuzco.
Is this your favorite scene?
Yes, this is my
Okay.
favorite scene. Into the river, which is after him doing his own theme music, by the way, which I
Oh! When he's like a fly.
apparently Patrick Warburton improvised all of that. But
Oh my god!
there's a scene as he's doing that where the little devil and
Shut
the little
up, that was my-
angel pop up on his
Oh,
shoulders.
that's your favorite?
And they're so silly because they're like,
Oh my
they're like,
god!
the little devil. He's like, I'll give you 3 reasons why you shouldn't listen to that guy. First of all, look at him. Look at that sissy harp thing he's playing. It's called a harp. Yeah, whatever. Second of all, check this out. And then he just starts doing one-arm push-ups. And then Kronk proper, he's like, what? I don't understand. And then the angel's like, no.
No, that's actually valid.
Give him a minute. That's pretty valid. I love
I
Kronk
forgot about that part. This is so
much.
funny.
3 little Kronks. Happy as Andre.
Yes. All right. Luis, what's your favorite Kronk scene?
My favorite Kronk scene is actually the one where they're in the restaurant and he goes to the back with the cook,
he's the
and
chef?
then the chef gives up.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
quits.
Like, and all of a sudden Kronk's like, well, all right. And he just takes over as the chef.
Takes over
And
immediately.
The waitress is telling him like, oh, we want this, and that, and that, and then he's got like a perplexed look, almost like, oh my God, what is going on? And then she finishes the order and basically just repeats it.
Yep.
And, okay, so you want blah, 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 coming right up. And he's just over there cooking.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so
Just-
funny.
He starts cooking immediately. Kronk is like the best dude. I love Kronk. He's a great guy.
Oh no, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to be his friend.
Oh.
That scene you're talking about, my favorite part of that scene, Luis, is when Yzma's like, "Can I get a side of potatoes?" He's like, "Well, I'll have to charge you full price."
And then he doesn't charge Kuzco.
Right, yeah. Cheers. No, cheers. Cheers.
No, but
Cheers.
that's my favorite scene.
Hold the cheers.
Emily's dying. It's so stupid, and that's what I was saying. There's something about this movie, like, it is so stupid. Like, if you really think about it, it was so funny. Okay, Emily, we need to know your favorite Kronk scene.
Well, Andre totally took mine because
With
the
the
little
angel.
devil.
Okay, well,
angel.
honorable mention.
Honorable mention is between him and Yzma when they're so she's like we've looked in this she's in her little cave, like we don't know really where she's at, and she's like, we've searched this village and this village, and she's crossing things out, and then she's like, Kronk, pull over, and you don't know where they're at.
That's right.
She opens it up and he was carrying her on his back in like a mini tent, and like a rickshaw.
Yes.
And he lets her out, and and then he starts talking to the squirrel. I mean, it's beautiful.
I love when he talks to the squirrel.
Everything about him shows off. He actually has like Louis said, he has lots and lots of skills. It's just
He's a good guy.
He's in the wrong profession.
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
why
Kronk
are you an
is a
evil
stand-up guy, especially when he's jump roping with the kids, and Yzma's like, "We gotta get out of here and get him." And he's like, "It was great meeting you. We gotta get together. The
That's
next
right.
family
That,
reunion."
no,
Yes.
that one's good too.
It's
Like
amazing.
Yzma's getting tarred and feathered pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's just standing at the top like.
He's like, we gotta get together soon. And Pacha's wife's just like, yeah, sure. Like, okay, Andre, please do the theme song because say the theme song part because I'm dying.
Oh, I don't remember it, but
just explain it.
He's been tasked with taking Kuzco's body out to the river.
Yes.
You know, since they knocked him out instead of poisoning him and turning him into a llama.
Yes.
And Kronk, he pulls him over his shoulder and starts sneaking his way to the river going.
He's like,
and then the people walk by him and he hugs the wall
like a fly on the wall. He's like, that's my honorable mention. Like, that's a good one.
I love Kronk so much, and yeah, his voice work is like one of the best parts of this movie because Patrick Warburton, that guy, he has just the greatest voice, and I love doing it.
He has the most like iconic voice, and I don't know what it is, but he's great at everything.
There's one point where Yzma has taken over. Like they pronounce Kuzco as dead, and Yzma took over, and she's having like a fashion designer come in and like design dresses for her or whatever. And Kronk goes up to the little fashion designer dude, and this is kind of like an aside to the story. Like you can't even hear it unless you're listening for it. And he says to the designer dude, "Oh well, I don't know if you're gonna be able to fit in all that. I wear a 66 long and a 31 waist." Talking about his pant size.
That's so funny.
Which is hilarious.
You didn't say your favorite line, which is when he's an angel and a devil too. And what does the little devil says?
Oh yeah, the angel's like trying to convince Kronk not to be a bad guy, and the devil's like, he's trying to lead you down the path to righteousness. I'm gonna lead you down the path that rocks.
Yeah, that's good.
So funny.
Love the devil. Oh man,
Kronk is great. Let's talk about Yzma.
Yzma.
Because Kronk and Yzma are a duo. Like they're a package. They're so opposite, which is so funny to me. Like Yzma's straight up evil, has all these magic potions in her lair. What did that job interview look like? Did she just like hire Kronk one day?
It's very
I
funny.
don't understand that.
Because she and Kronk they remind me very much of Jafar and Iago. You know?
It's funny.
Yeah.
We were talking battles earlier, Luis and I said you should probably do a Iago and a Kronk or whoever.
Right, yeah.
You should juxtapose them because they're very much like one's comic, one's super evil.
Super evil and serious. But they're copacetic sometimes and line up exactly with each other. Like I love it when they after they've pulled the wrong lever.
Wrong lever.
They pull the right lever and they just like go down this super slide into her secret lab, and they're all synced up, and it's very reminiscent of the 1966 Batman series because Batman and Robin, they do that same exact thing. They like slide down a pole into the Batcave and they suit up together at the exact same
FYI,
moment.
Andre is so excited right now. He got
excited.
His back got all straight.
There's more.
Whoa!
Don't
Also,
interrupt me.
Eartha Kitt, who voiced Yzma, played Catwoman on that show.
Oh.
Well.
She also
All
happens to
kinds
look
of
like
Batman connections.
Yzma
Yes,
in real life.
They modeled her exactly after Eartha Kitt.
Yzma is straight up gross though, because when they do that thing where they zoom in on her face, and Kuzco's just like, "Oh, this lady's got so many wrinkles.
Yes.
What's that in her
That
tooth?
was
How long has
hilarious.
that been there?" And then when Kronk goes into her tent to like wake her up, and she's like, "What?" And he's bald, like she's bald, and he's like, "This better be good."
He goes, "Ugh."
Literally,
Sticks his tongue out.
it's just so funny. She's
I
so
just want to
creepy.
know what the Kronk before Kronk looked like, because you know how Kuzco at the beginning says that she gets like a new model every 10 years or something.
That's right.
So-
Yeah.
So that
yeah.
like because he's in his young 20s, right? We're
probably.
assuming. So like she gets a new one once they hit 30 or something.
Probably.
And so it's like, what did the Kronk before Kronk? Like, what was he smart? Was he like extra dull? Like,
Right.
I don't know,
just
but
would
I
love
need
to
to
know.
be
How did
Kronk's
she get
friend.
rid of him?
Kronk can be in our inner circle any day. Just saying.
Well, I want some spinach puffs.
Right?
I almost
Yeah.
want spinach
It's all about the snacking, people.
He's obviously a great cook. He's got spinach puffs and the whole diner. the fish-shaped steak. Did you guys notice that?
Oh my!
Oh my God, that's
It's so
disgusting and silly
But
all at the same time.
all of these things we're talking about, like I could just go on for like another hour quoting like all the funny things. That's why I'm saying this movie like really hit a note with me. It's just
But
so
here's the deal.
comical.
So everything that we've talked about so far
Has nothing to do with the plot.
has
yeah.
nothing to do with
Right.
the plot. No, but that's my problem with it. Is that everything with the plot
Is a little
annoys
bit more
me.
dull.
Right.
Yeah.
it annoys me, or I think that the characters are like bleh. So the best parts are these parts.
Right.
To me
Yeah.
at least.
These super silly.
No, I
parts.
can agree. I mean, they are the most comical, like the parts of the movie where as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, here it comes, here it comes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
almost like
they're
overshadowing
going to
the
say
other.
something. Yes.
Well, this reminds me. Let me go off on my tangent of the day for another fandom. This reminds me of like Lord of the Rings, like Fellowship of the Ring, that
Okay.
whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we watch those movies, I'm way more excited with the side stories than I am about what's happening with Frodo and the Ring.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
every time it gets
exactly.
back to Frodo, I'm like, dude, just get to Mount Doom or
Yeah,
Mount,
Terrible.
What's
Mount
taking you so
Doom.
long?
I don't know.
agree.
Just get there. Like I'm done. Like I don't care. Sam, eat your llamas bread. Let's move. Like you know. But like all
They
the
got
other.
little legs. You can't blame them.
They
for
can't be
that.
moving so quick.
Yes, I can. That's exactly.
He's a llama. He can't move that quick.
He has 4 legs.
True. He's a terrible
He's
llama.
got a lot of legs.
But that's how I feel about this movie. I feel like all the other fun stuff that's happening, and then it's like,
Yeah.
dang, Pacha.
So let's talk about the
Hey,
a
Pacha
little.
was good guy.
Pacha is a good guy, but let's talk a little bit about the plot. So I think it's so funny. And I don't think I connected this as a kid. Like, they turned him into a llama. Like, to me, a llama is just a random animal. But now I realize now my aunt is actually from Peru. So my uncle...
I thought you were going to say she's like a llamaist or something.
No, but
Is that a thing?
llamas roam
Or she
around.
has
like
alpaca hair, which is similar to a llama.
It's like
Anyways.
sheep for us.
Yes. Or cows if you're in the Central Valley. You know what I mean? Like, they're just...
Cows.
They're
Shout out to
around.
the
So
cows.
llamas just kind of, they roam around Peru, and that's like a thing. So now I understand why they turned him into a llama, but I'm just saying if they turned him into a different animal, it would have been a whole new story. So that was my question I was going to pose. If he wasn't going to be turned into a llama, what would you rather have him be turned into?
Oh.
If he was
non-llama?
not a llama.
That's a good question, because I think I'd want him to still be encumbered by his new form. Like, I wouldn't want to turn him into like a monkey or anything like that, but I also wouldn't want to turn him into like a whale like he does at the end of the movie. It'd have to be some kind of equally silly animal
But that's commonplace enough for it
Like
to
a
be
pig.
like...
I was going to say a pig.
Yeah, because I think the interesting thing about him turning into a llama is that now he's like everybody else.
He's like a peasant.
Yeah.
Because
You know
he's
what I mean?
always
Exactly.
making fun of peasants.
It brings
you know
him
what I mean?
down.
So now he's like in the nobody category. So he would
Yeah.
still have to be like maybe like a mouse or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I just thought camel, but that's pretty
That's
similar.
not an Arabian
pretty similar to
Nights.
llama.
Arabian Nights.
Well,
Yeah.
if we're gonna stay historically accurate to where he's from
He's a
and
llama.
the Inca Empire, I would think they'd want to turn him into a guinea pig because
'Cause they'll
guinea
eat them.
pigs are actually were a
delicacy,
delicacy
yeah.
of the Inca
Yeah.
Empire.
Trust me. Okay, here we're going off on a side tangent, but my aunt is from Peru. My younger sister has autism, and so we wanted to like give her some responsibility, but not like a dog responsibility. So we bought her 2 guinea pigs, and she takes care of them, and she loves them. My aunt came over for Christmas and asked if we were gonna eat them for dinner. She was like, "Oh, it's pet? Why you keep it like in a cage?" And we were like, "It's a pet." She was like, "Oh, like I think she thought that we were just herding them like chickens or something." She wanted to eat them.
Grow a couple guinea
Yeah, they're a
pigs and-
delicacy over there.
Boom.
I want to try it.
Oh,
well, maybe
dear.
not a delicacy
Everyone
because
would be so
You
mad.
want to eat Kylie's pet?
Not Kylie's.
How dare you eat my
you want to
sister's
eat
pet?
someone else's pet.
I mean, I'll go to Peru. I don't have to eat anything.
Technically speaking, they're not a delicacy. They're kind of it's a common.
It's a common food.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Oh,
delicacy.
so it's cheap. Let's do this. Guinea pig me up.
Y'all. Bag it
Hook it up with
Can
some
I
guinea
have,
bacon.
Back it up.
Guinea pig.
Some guinea ham.
Now one of our listeners is going to be like, "Yeah, I ate a guinea pig." Like they just were.
Listeners,
I don't know,
if you've had
in
guinea
Peru
pig,
or
please let
something.
me know how it tastes.
And
No,
then
geez.
and then we have vegan listeners who are going to be like, "You guys,
Vegan
Yeah,
listeners,
Andre.
Please don't comment on this.
You're
episode.
You're offending people.
Guys, but it's not about offense. I mean, really, if another place is gonna
Yeah.
eat it, then it's good.
Indian
But then
listeners.
it's good.
You don't know that.
Guys, Indian listeners are just as mad at us about eating cows. Like
That's true.
That's very
exactly
true.
The same, you know. So I'm trying to try some guinea pig.
You know what's funny about Kuzco as a llama is that he still has his hair.
same
Same hair.
And it's god awful both
It
ways.
is
I don't
awful.
care if he's a human. I don't care if he's a llama.
You know
he
what?
looks like
Looking
You know
like
what I just
Rihanna with that
realized?
A
You-
line.
You said that hair is god awful, and I had that hair cut for years and years and years of my life.
you're a girl.
That's true.
You're not a llama.
That's good.
Not a
Trumps
llama.
all of the things you just said.
I'm
Also,
happy-
you don't have
happy
that
I'm not a
hairstyle
llama.
anymore.
Also, I used to have that hairstyle and I rocked it too. But again, I'm a girl and not a llama.
And you guys are
True.
human, so.
Yeah.
True.
Not a llama.
Not llama.
I mean, I guess I could have been
True.
other things, but
True.
All right, let's go to the plot a little bit.
why? I'm just
Yeah, well, so-
Emily doesn't like the plot.
Sure. I can understand that the plot isn't as strong as the jokes, I suppose. But I like it. I think it's a fun little story of
Let me surmise what happened. Pretty much, Pacha gets summoned to the Empire because Darth Vader wants to take over his home planet.
Right.
No, pretty much, Kuzco wants to build Kuzcotopia on top of the hill that Pacha's family has lived on for 6 generations. So that's a long old time.
Long time.
That's
he
rude, Kuzco.
literally brings him there so that he can say, is it a good place to live? Okay, good. I'm going to use it. So then Pacha's like, man, this is rough. Trying to go back home. Yzma turns Kronk into, Yzma turns Thing
Kuzco.
into the thing.
Not
And
me.
then, yes. And he ends up back with Pacha. And then the whole rest of the story is them trying to get back.
yeah.
It's literally a one-way trip to Pacha's house and a
then
one-way trip back.
long, winding road.
I will
back
say
to
the
Empire.
two funniest things about the plot, but then again, I guess it's not really about the plot. It's like a side story. I would say one of the funniest things is when the squirrel comes and it's like, and he pops the balloon,
Oh, in
and
front
then
of all the
and
jaguars.
Kuzco's like, "Huh," because they didn't wake up, and then they woke up because he laughed. That was funny.
I do.
Nah, he got what he deserved.
He did.
All right.
You
He-
wanted
he's
him
a
to get
pest.
eaten right there.
Yes.
Luis, like, it would have been a much more succinct story had he just
Much
gotten
nicer
eaten
movie.
in
And
the
then
first
we could
25
just have a
minutes.
story about Kronk.
I kind
would
of
not be upset
wonder.
about
Well, watch Kronk's New Groove then.
The sequel, Kronk's New Groove.
It's on Netflix.
We
Is
may
it?
watch it.
Yeah, I think I might.
I might watch it. I wonder how good of an emperor was Kuzco, and how
terrible,
how
right?
bad of an emperor would Yzma have been?
Oh,
Because she takes over, and I assume she wasn't going to be putting up Kuzcotopias all over the place. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
But was she being more of like a dictator?
Although, yeah, she was in the very
I thought you were
beginning.
gonna say
She was like, she was like that peasant came in and he was like, we don't have any food, and she's like, well, you should have thought about that before you came peasants.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, okay.
It was. I'm sorry.
I
That
don't
was a
think
funny
either
line.
one of them would
Yeah,
have been a
not
good
great.
emperor.
Well, I just like how she repainted everything in her image
In
with
purple,
purple.
yeah.
I dig it.
It
I
looked
liked
pretty
that
good.
too.
Yeah.
Because that
Well,
isn't-
he's not getting any deader.
Well, just
Great
the way she
eulogy.
says it.
Oh Lord, no,
Yes.
that was quite funny.
It was funny.
Quite. Yes.
So I guess it's an Easter eggy type thing, but I saw this reference before we actually started watching the movie, and then I was waiting for it when it came. So Kronk is making the drinks, right? He's shaking up the little
Yeah.
potion into the drinks, and then he can't figure out which one it is. So he shakes them all 3 up, and then he's trying to get Yzma not to drink it. Well, she realizes that, and she tosses it over her shoulder into
Into a
the
plant?
The
into
bush, yeah.
and the plant bush thing, right? Well, a couple scenes go by, you see everyone going through, and when it pans back to her, the bush is now a llama.
What?
The bush is no longer a
What?
bush. The bush is it's a llama bush. Like it was
It's a llama bush.
It was a bush.
That's amazing.
And then when you look back, it was in the shape of a llama. So the bush actually turned
What?
into
That's
one.
Oh,
very
that's
funny
so
because
funny.
in that first scene where she was like showing off what kind of poison she could kill Kuzco with, she puts the poison into a plant, and the plant just turns to ash. Or
Exactly.
Whatever. So all of
I
her
quoted that whole part.
all of her potions just turn whatever into whatever.
Yeah, so it's not even like
Shit, what
human.
the
It's not
hell?
human to animal or animal to human. It's like whatever into whatever. So go plant llamas. There's llamas everywhere
Yeah.
now.
That's hilarious.
So I'll have to show you
So
guys that
funny,
picture. I thought it
yeah.
was really
Why
funny.
don't they need a llama plant in front of Small World now?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
What?
You know how in
Oh.
It's a Small World, all the bushes are shapes of animals?
Oh, I thought you meant like a potted plant. I was like,
No, the
no,
bushes.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
you're always like, the moose.
I am always like the moose. And last time we went, the moose was looking a little scarce. Like
It was a little thin.
yeah, it's cold for the winter. And
They chop.
Yeah.
They
Poor
chop that
moose bush.
Poor moose bush.
Poor
That's very
moose
sad. Anyhow.
bush.
You don't know how many times I've actually gotten pictures from people just taking pictures of the bush. Like, I didn't even know they were in Disneyland, and I just get a picture of a moose bush on my phone.
And I
That's
bet
it.
you're so excited.
I was. I don't even get a high or anything. It's just like, mush, mush.
You should be. Hey, Luis. What's that battle do?
What's that battle do?
That was like a really weird way to say it. I don't know.
A little bit.
What's that battle do, hey?
Moose battle.
Battle.
Wait,
No. Llama battle.
Llama battle.
Llama battle. All right, guys. So for this week's episode, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're ready.
Who is a funnier evil sidekick? The bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons,
Who Luis demoted to sidekick
Yeah.
from Doris.
Yeah, he did. Wow.
or Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove?
Who is the funniest?
Who's funnier?
Who is a funnier evil sidekick?
And
Who's a
funnier evil sidekick. Well, Kronk's not evil to me, though.
Right.
But
Boom.
he is an evil sidekick.
Okay,
Sure.
okay, he's an evil sidekick. Okay, we're taking it as a title. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is a funnier
Because if you categorized him,
evil.
he would be an evil sidekick.
Right.
sidekick?
So, bowler hat guy is funny, but it's mainly because of how incompetent he is, right? He kind of can't.
Kronk is also incompetent.
Kronk is incompetent, but then again, he's like very good at a lot of things, like we were saying earlier. And I guess he's incompetent at doing evil stuff. But
He's actually a good guy, I guess.
yeah, because he's a good guy, but he's good at doing everything. He can talk to squirrels. He can carry a whole
Yeah, he
Yzma on his
can.
back. He can cook everything under the sun. Apparently,
And apparently it's good.
he can double dutch. He can do anything. But
They both have very good physical comedy too.
bowler hat guy, Mr. Goob himself, I don't know what he's good at. He can't even spell.
Sad
know?
day.
His Lisa Frank binder. He doesn't know what to
That's
do with it. He
right.
just leaves it behind.
Oh.
Yeah, Gooby.
He's good at having a hipster mustache.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good at that. He's got his oils and
He's good at
wax.
having evil guy teeth hygiene.
Blech.
Yikes.
His teeth were kind of creepy.
Blech,
Kronk
blech.
looked like he had good teeth.
Okay, my vote is for Kronk because it's Kronk.
That's not a reason. It's
My
because
vote's
it's
for
Kronk.
Because
it's
Kronk is funnier.
Okay.
There you go.
That was the question, right? Oh, hold on. Let me restate the question in my answer. I think that in the comparison between Bowler Hat Guy
Oh my
and
God,
Kronk,
stop.
that Kronk is the funnier evil sidekick.
Interesting
Thank you.
conclusion.
You're
okay.
welcome.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with Michelle and vote for Kronk because like Goob is Goob. I keep calling him Goob. Bowler hat guy is very funny, but Kronk is on another level. Kronk, almost everything he says,
Yes.
literally
golden.
killed me. It's so good.
And I don't
All
know
of
if
it.
it's necessarily Kronk or if it's what's the voice actor?
Patrick Warburton.
It's Patrick Wahlberg because he is
Not
Patrick
Wahlberg. Warburton.
Warburg.
He is
Warburton.
definitely not.
He's a Wahlberg now. Patrick Wahlberg. He's just so funny.
Marky Mark was in this movie. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Mark. Hey. Anyways.
No, I agree with you. I would also say that Kronk takes the cake for me because I think Goob was funnier as a child than he was as Bowler Hat Guy.
Yeah.
So that was before he was classified as an evil sidekick. I mean, his steak comment was like pure gold, you know.
To die for. It's like, good cup of Joe.
Steak, you're my only friend. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that was before he was an evil sidekick.
Right.
That was when he was just,
He got a little jaded.
he was just a jaded 7-year-old.
Ooh. Sorry.
Michelle is eating candy and thought she would turn the microphone back on to let you guys know that.
Just to give y'all a little ooh.
I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Let me get back to Snake.
But yeah, I would say Kronk because, like you said, everything that comes out of his mouth is absolutely hilarious. And I like the fact that he, that the voice actor did a lot of improv.
Yeah.
You can tell when it's just straight off the cuff.
Right.
Like we talked a lot with like Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean. You can just tell when it's just coming out.
Yes. He's just going off.
Quite hilarious.
Yzma tells him, Kronk, break down the door. He's like, break it down? Are you kidding me? This is hand-carved mahogany.
Oh, man.
Louise, who do you choose?
Oh,
You know
Lord.
what, guys? That was kind of, in terms of my battles, that was a terrible one because we're all obviously going to pick Kronk.
Yeah.
You
There's just
know?
something about that Kronk, man.
But hold on, let me give a little bit of a shout out to Bowler Hat Guy. though.
No.
I mean, the couple of scenes where he controls animals,
Yes.
and then they go back. He's like, I don't think you thought this plan through. Those two right there were very hilarious.
Yeah, with the
to
frog
me,
and,
like,
the dinosaur.
But was it that
But it was the frog.
The frog was funny.
and then also the dinosaur. The dinosaur's like, I don't think you thought this through. I have very small hands.
Well, that was the dinosaur.
But it wasn't Bowler Hat Guy.
But it involved his
It involved
idiocracy.
Bowler Hat Guy.
I suppose.
Okay, so
Kronk takes the
he
cake.
led to that. Of course, I'm not disagreeing.
Ooh, we're gonna
Okay, devil's advocate.
So if you
Squirkin'.
recall, I said, I chose the crummy one because we're all going to go with Kronk, but I
True.
just wanted to give him a little bit of credit. Bowler Hat Guy, and those
He is
two
very funny.
instances Where I thought
Yeah, no, he was
kinda-
pretty funny.
He created a pretty funny scene.
You're right.
Poor
So,
But Kronk,
Poor kid in adult body.
but
Yes.
Kronk is definitely the winner.
side note,
Boom.
Kronk's the winner.
I was eating.
Kronk's the winner.
Luis,
That was my voice.
we went to Disneyland last weekend, and the whole weekend I was dreading Andre eating these watermelon chili lime beignets.
Oh, we're having a completely different conversation.
Yes.
Oh my God, we went
So-
from 0 to.
You didn't preface that at all.
Are you
Thought
surprised?
Thought you were talking about the movie.
Nah.
Go ahead.
All right,
Michelle.
hashtag always
No,
snacking
remember,
moment.
I
Here
just
we go.
picked up the microphone and I went, woo,
Yeah.
because I had some candy. And Luis bought Mexican candy that tastes very similar to the chili lime beignets. And
They have chili lime beignets at Disneyland. We tried them. We had good opinions of them.
Okay, back
Sure.
up. This is exactly how it
I
went
liked
down.
it a lot.
This is
I liked it too.
exactly how it went down. Michelle brings it up in the car. They have these chili lime beignets, and we are not trying them. And Andre's like,
What? okay, I did say
That's
that.
exactly what you said.
and Andre's like, no, I'm trying it. And Michelle's like, no. And then he's like, I can try what I want to try. And then we get there, and Andre tries it. He takes his bite, and he makes this face. And you guys might have seen it. It was on our story. And he was like, whoa. And then Luis tries it. Whoa. And then I tried it. Whoa. And then Michelle's like, all right, give it to me. And she
Yeah.
tries it, and guess
I
what?
liked it too.
Woo! Right? So then she was like, all right. She took it back, and now she doesn't remember that she said, no.
Mm-hmm.
Say it.
But the point,
Nope.
nope. The point is, I just ate the candy that tasted like it, and I still went, woo.
And Luis, what is the candy called, everyone?
Super Rico?
You know what? This candy's been known for many names across many timelines. And before, it became illegal to have lead in your candy.
Right.
Whoa.
Back in the early 90s,
Oh,
it had a
what,
different
what?
name.
The good old days.
Yeah, but right now it is called Super Rico.
Super.
Chili lime powder with a dragon.
What,
So
what?
before lead happened, what was it called?
I forgot.
Anyway.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Mexican candy from
That's
the
right.
90s.
Yeah. It's good.
Fully leaded.
Try the chili lime beignets at Disneyland. Go for it.
Tastes better than it sounds.
Meh.
Yes.
Way better,
Yeah.
guys. Trust me.
I had 2.
Yeah, he did.
Hashtag always snacking. That's been that segment.
Actually, Andre, I'm pretty sure there was 3, and we had 1.5 each because it was that good.
Did we
I
split
should-
one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did split
I
one.
feel
Does
like
it
ate
matter?
that
I
whole
don't think
You
segment.
know what
listeners-
Andre just said? He just said end of that segment. So does that mean I'm getting my own segment now?
No, you're not getting a hashtag always snacking segment.
Listeners, if you want me to have a
Oh,
hashtag
no.
always snagging segment, you let me know one time.
Listeners, you just opened yourselves up to a lot of smacking into the microphone. I hope you know that.
You had a chin segment. We don't get an always snacking
I got some
segment.
great feedback on that segment. Okay, so getting back to the movie. Sorry, you
Chin,
guys. I think our
chin,
listeners
chin,
know. They know how my brain works by now, and it's usually pretty much all over the place.
Do you guys know how Michelle's brain works? Please let me know.
So when this movie was over, there was a credit song,
Mm-hmm.
R&B credit song.
Mm.
and it kind of it was
wasn't
an
quite
R&B
R&B-ish,
credit
though.
song by Sting.
Yes.
So
That's why it wasn't
let's-
R&B-ish to
I'm
me.
gonna let Andre kind of take over this portion where about Kingdom of the Sun.
So, this movie, they started working on it in like 1994 or something like that. It came out in 2000. I don't think I said that at the top of the show, but they started working on it pretty early, and it was going under the title of Kingdom of the Sun, and it was basically going to be like a kind of a Prince and the Pauper kind of tale.
Okay.
Kuzco was going to be the emperor, and he was going to find a person that looked just like him, who was a peasant, and then they were kind of going to switch places,
Sure.
and he was going to learn his lesson that way, and it was going to be much more dramatic. And
It was going to be a musical and
yes,
all that
and
jazz.
all that stuff. I think David Spade was still attached to it, but they didn't have
Ooh.
John Goodman as Pacha. They had Owen Wilson as the Pauper,
Yes.
Okay.
the Cusco Pauper guy. So for that movie, they had because of the success of The Lion
Lion King.
and having Elton John do all of that music, they had Sting come in. Sting from the Police. You remember Sting?
I love Sting. Don't you make fun of no Sting?
I don't know much Sting, but they had Sting
That's
come in.
because you're not
Yeah.
white.
There's not a lot of Sting going on in my household. We didn't play a lot of stuff from the Police.
Oh my god.
So they had Sting come in to do all the music. He wrote 10, 13 songs, something like that.
And also the director of The Lion King is the same for this movie.
It was
It
the
was
same.
for
It was
Kingdom
the
of
same
the Sun.
at the beginning. Yes,
Okay.
and then somebody took over, and I think it was Michael Eisner at the time, and he
was the CEO.
They saw a rough pitch, and they were like, I don't know if I like all of this. Let's rework it.
And they had already spent 2 years doing all this.
So they reworked it into a comedy. They took out all the Sting. They threw in a Pacha. They threw in a llama. And
got a new director. He dropped out.
And got a new director. So the only vestiges that was left from all of that Sting music was that end credit song by
The
Sting.
My Funny Friend and Me song,
Which I
don't like.
No, I didn't dig it.
Right.
No,
I do
it's
like
not.
me some Sting, but when I can't remember. Hold on, we're listening to it last night, and the song comes on. Luis, who did you say that the song was? Who did you say was singing? Do you remember?
Shut up, Phil Collins is on.
He literally, oh my God. Okay, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
He literally is like, look, Phil Collins is singing. I was like, excuse me, that Sting.
That is not Phil Collins. Don't you dare.
Again, there was no
comparison.
There was no Police playing in Luis's house.
The two songs in the movie were actually the intro song, the Kuzco song. That was also Sting.
Sting wrote that as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
so there was 12 songs in total. Only 2 stayed in. And what happened was that
I'm glad it wasn't a musical, though. I will say that.
Sting's wife made the reason he said I'll do the music for the film if you let my wife document everything, because she was like a documentary person. So there's a documentary on the failure of this Kingdom of the Sun thing and how it ruined this other director's.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to
We didn't watch it,
between, when we watched the movie
Could be
and
interesting.
this recording. But I think I do kind of want to check it out because it's like this whole buildup of this movie being made, and then it kind of all gets crumbled into something completely different.
We haven't done Pinocchio yet, but apparently that movie also got a very extensive overhaul. So, the 2 movies that have gotten extensive overhauls like this are Pinocchio and Emperor's New Groove.
That's so funny to me because a lot of times you don't know you don't know that, obviously, going in to watch this movie. But then when you hear, what it could have been, it really jars you, because for that's not even close to this movie. That's not even.
No, it's not.
It's not even a little bit.
It's literally maybe they were in Peru and the country is the same thing.
They have the location and maybe half of a character. That
they were also saying.
And can you imagine how rough that would be for the people who worked on that for all that time?
Yeah.
So now I really actually do want to watch that documentary.
I think it would be really interesting. Also, this movie came out around the same time that El Dorado came out.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen. That's DreamWorks, right?
The Road to El Dorado. You've never seen?
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay, first off, I think it's on Netflix.
So
second off,
I think that's why
Disney
they kind
people,
of changed
if you guys
movie.
have not seen The Road to El Dorado, get on it.
So they were
I don't care if it's
saying
not
it was
Disney,
a
it's
race
perfect.
for one of the movies to come out, because they were like, wow, they're almost the same thing. We got a race to it to see whose movie's going to come out first type of thing. But then they ended up changing all of the Emperor's New Groove. So
well, it's funny because I can see the more similarities had the storyline stayed similar to what it was before.
Kingdom of the Sun.
But because it's changed, it probably did better than it would have had they come out and been the same movie.
I think so too. The only other kind of fun fact I have of that is Sting agreed to let the 2 songs that he wrote be on the movie only because they changed the ending, and I think Luis will like this. Luis was saying that he didn't like Kuzco until the end, where he kind of is like, he doesn't build his Kuzco-topia on Pacha's Hill. He's a slightly better person. He builds it next to Pacha's Hill. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But originally he was still going to build his hill, his Kuzco-topia on that hill. And Sting said, no, my name will not be on this movie if you do the ending like that, because that's very degrading and all. And so then they pulled it the last, a couple months before the movie came out, then they changed the ending.
That's very interesting.
So the movie was going to have no moral?
I don't. Not yet. That's what I was just thinking.
It's
you know what? If you ask me, Sting kind of did him a favor.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah, I would have been like, what What the what?
So how?
What? We said that a lot in Disneyland.
Yeah, we did.
What?
Cuckoo.
Yeah, so I can't even imagine if the movie had ended and Kuzco just still became like a super. He was just a continuing jerk face.
That would have been so sad.
That would have been
Like,
really weird and
so sad.
and a lot less satisfying of a movie.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
Like I like seeing the juxtaposition of Kuzco at the end. It's so funny because now that I'm thinking, Emily was talking about. I don't know. It was another movie where we were talking about the marketing of the movie. All I remember of the marketing of this movie was the scene where they fall down the waterfall. I'm pretty sure that was in every single trailer. And I vividly remember seeing it on Disney Channel, on ABC.
Yes.
The trailer for Emperor's New Groove, like the scene where they fall down the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all they marketed.
Big waterfall. Yep.
And he's like, "Yep, bring it on."
Booyah, ha, ha.
Which is funny because it almost seems to me like his commentary in that particular scene doesn't add up to what I would expect him to say, and I wonder if that was all done before like the movie was finalized and they just like threw it back in, because the whole "bring it on" part,
Bring it on.
like
Bring it up.
he seems more.
Like, why is he all confident all of a
Yeah,
sudden?
because he was just complaining, like,
Right.
and I wonder if it's supposed to be sarcastic,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we have no other options to just bring it on. But
Just bring it on.
he's not doing that the rest of the time, and then he
Right.
goes back to complaining again.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
Immediately.
like, I don't know. It's quite hilarious though.
Yeah, I liked it.
Emily, you know how when we watched Ratatouille, there were certain things that grossed you out?
Don't talk about him. But
Did the pill bug gross you out?
the thing that opened up when they were eating?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to eat it, but it didn't like make me want to like take a shower and cry.
That was one of the most disgusting cartoon food items I've ever seen.
It was disgusting.
Them
It
eating
really
that
made me
bug
sick.
is way worse than Timon and Pumbaa eating bugs. To
Oh,
me.
well,
yeah.
I was like, what?
Timon and Pumbaa bugs are slimy yet satisfying. I'd get down on some Timon and
yeah.
Pumbaa bugs.
Ew.
I don't know about that, but no, it didn't make me think of 10,000 rats running over my skin.
I don't know, guys. That scene kind of just reminds me of Lobster.
Oh, I'm allergic to lobster.
So see, that's why you didn't like it.
Yeah,
It was
I
kind of
like lobster.
it kind of was seafoody. Like it
Very
looked like
lobster.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
did.
Sure.
So yeah, no, I wasn't digging it. Like I didn't want to like jump in, especially like they did a little knock on it and it opened up all slimy. No, I
Knock
didn't
knock,
wanna eat
who's
that.
there? That was my sound effect.
I thought we were going
Foley
somewhere else.
artist Michelle.
Yay! Hire me.
Hire
funny.
me.
Okay.
Oh.
Lord.
Let me talk a little bit about money.
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 You giving it out?
Was it a moneymaker?
You giving a loan, Andre?
No.
People like this movie.
People like this movie a lot.
Donation, not a loan.
Oh, donation.
It didn't make a ton of money, though. You know, especially Disney numbers. This movie's budget was $100 million. It probably got up to that much because they had to redo the entire thing.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
bet.
And it ended up making a worldwide gross of $169 million. So, you know.
Is that considered a good like margin
Almost
for
70
them?
million profit.
Yeah, but, you know, Disney, I think, probably around this time, like, you know, I think Tarzan made like a lot more money than this did and stuff like that.
You mean
So,
Phil
like,
Collins?
Shut up, Phil Collins is on.
Phil Collins made a lot more money than this did. I think Disney, when they put a movie together and spend this much on it, I think they expect a much bigger return.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think they want double or triple their money back.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
Oh,
some bigger
definitely.
ROI on that.
Definitely, but I mean, at the same time, it's like when they're looking at how much it costs and how much they made, they're including what they pay everyone else.
Yes,
off.
exactly.
They're including paying off caffeination.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point,
Caffeination.
Caffeination.
Eric
Any million-
Part of
Benavides.
the budget.
any million after that, the way I see it, it's a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if I had
The way I see
$69
it.
million extra dollars, I'd be extremely happy. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, Disney has, I think, nearing trillions of dollars. So you know, it's a drop in the bucket.
I'm
for them.
pretty sure they own the whole world, so
They
there's
own,
that.
they own quite a lot.
Yeah, by a year from now in this podcast, they're going to own all the movie companies, and then we're just going to be like, well, What do we watch now?
Everything.
I don't know if I can do that kind of a podcast.
I mean, I wouldn't be.
Feel free to buy us out though, Disney. We're welcome.
Yeah. I was about to say I wouldn't be surprised that at some point they're gonna own our podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm about it. Give me some money. What does this have on?
Pay me, Bobby.
On the Rotten Tomato meter.
The Rotten Tomato meter says 85%.
Oh, you have to do that in a French voice every time. That was funny.
The Rotten Tomato meter.
Yes. Ratatouille.
Toulouse.
85.
Yes, an 85%.
Okay.
It got pretty good reviews at the time. Solid. But I think it ramped up a little bit more in like its DVD sales.
Sure.
Like that.
Yeah, it's almost like Goofy movie. There's all these movies where like all of a sudden now they have like a bigger following. Like
Oh yeah.
people love Emperor's New Groove. It has a bigger following now than like when it came out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Same with Goofy movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, we go to the box lunch store. We have one in our mall now, and there's like 6 or 7 different Goofy movie T-shirts. It's like I'm pretty sure that came out multiple years
When we
ago.
went to Disneyland last weekend, there was multiple Powerline shirts where I was like, "Where did you get that?"
Oh yeah,
I need it.
and it looked like they were like on tour, like
Right.
there's
Yeah.
the packs of people in Powerline T-shirts.
So funny. You want to? You want to go first with your rating?
I almost just started singing that entire song.
Even if I want to shout out loud.
Get out of here.
I'm going to give this movie. I think I'm going to give it like an 8.7. It's higher than an.
Okay.
I'm getting granular, you guys. I think it's like a little bit higher than an 8.5, but it's not a 9, So 8.7 is where it's going to land for me. I think it's extremely funny and very entertaining the whole way through. Like there was no point in this movie where I'm like bored at all. I don't think.
Then why are you giving it a lowish score?
That's not a low score. That's a
No,
high
but I'm
It's a-
saying if he's saying that he was never bored,
It's a pretty
he
high
really
score.
liked it.
But it's not a 9 because it doesn't have some of those more dramatic moments. Like it doesn't hit emotionally as
I think it's the plot.
some other movies do. Yeah, and possibly the overall plot structure.
I end up rating movies lower if they don't have like a good soundtrack. Like that's like my criteria.
I've been singing that Kuzco song all week. Kuzco.
Yeah, but it's not like it comes on the Disney Pandora station and I sing it.
That's the indicator. Is it on Disney Pandora?
Well, Disney Pandora is very biased. It plays all of 4 songs. So
No, it doesn't. It plays
All of 4.
wonderful
I
things
get
that we were jamming.
Something
All
there every time on my Pandora station.
Yeah,
All
but you
the
were
4
real
songs.
happy when
Cuatro.
the Mulan song came out.
Well, duh. You must be swift as a coursing river. Ugh.
If we
Even
ever
Louis-
review that, you guys are done.
Even
We're singing the whole time.
Luis even sang it, you guys.
he
it was
he
a
did. He was
moment.
all, be a man.
But FYI, he calls it the cursing river instead of the coursing river.
Cursing river.
Cursing River.
That is so funny. Luis,
It's
you
just
want to
throwing obscenities.
Ex-
you want
Expletive
to rate the person who groove?
8.
8.
That was pretty good.
Anything else, or is that
any
it?
reason
He
for
just
your
turns
8?
the mic off.
I didn't like him at the beginning.
Right.
I liked them a little bit at the end.
Okay.
8.
So, in other words, Luis did not have a connection with the protagonist.
Not top 5.
Pretty sure he was an protagonist.
Antagoprotagonist. Antipro.
And
Anti-pro.
Oh, and I forgot. I hate David Spade.
Yeah,
He
we
does.
know.
We didn't talk about that.
Okay,
He
I'm
doesn't want to. I was like,
Hold on. I don't have hate for him in my heart. Because hate's such a very
What?
strong word.
It's a strong word.
I
Luis.
just,
don't
I
have hate
don't
for
think
You don't
he's
enjoy
funny.
him. Right.
I don't like his face, and I've never
Whoa.
liked any soul patches he's ever had in a movie.
He's had a lot of them.
And his hair is kind of like Cusco's hair.
Cusco.
Have you seen? He's had that
He's got
hairstyle.
I
Cusco
wouldn't be
hair.
mad if Cusco was voiced by Owen Wilson. I wouldn't have been mad.
No, it wasn't
No,
going to be Kuzco.
he was always going to be Cusco. I think it was Pacha who was going to be Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Oh, but
Which
I
I
like
think
John
Owen
Goodman.
Wilson, Owen Wilson would have been a great.
God. I sound just like Shakira.
Shut up. You know what? We might have new listeners that don't understand this reference. Okay,
Go
so
back
let's
to the
forget
Zootopia
about it.
episode for
Michelle thinks that they sound like Shakira.
Forget
and
about
Owen
it. They got mad at me because on Zootopia, when the Shakira giraffe, when the Shakira gazelle sings,
Try everything.
try everything, she sounds like Owen Wilson.
She does not.
Yeah, she does.
Oh my God, my hips, they don't lie. Look at them go. Wow.
Shut up.
Oh, wow. I'm a gazelle. All right, let's do some more ratings.
I can't
Who's
rate now.
next?
Andre just did some stand up and now we're dying.
Why don't you guys try everything and rate this movie?
Stop.
Okay, I'm ready for my rating. I was silent laughing. That's a problem. That like hurts my heart. I'm gonna give it a 7.
7.
Whoa.
7.
Okay.
Don't try to change my mind. It's a 7.
No, that's fine.
Wow.
The
Why
plot,
is
I
it a
don't
7?
like.
I can't do it like you do.
I don't like Owen Wilson. I don't like the
Like
plot.
Shakira Giraffe.
I the music, don't dig it.
Sure.
I don't dig it. I like Sting, but I don't think it goes together, and that makes a lot more sense now because it didn't go together.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't written for that purpose.
I feel like it's very disjointed. My favorite parts, if we could put, which now I feel like I need to watch Kronk's New Groove, and I would be all about it.
Yeah.
Because my number one thing is if we could take Kronk and we could take Yzma out of this story, I would say fabulous movie. I'd be giving it like a 9, but I cannot. I just can't. Right. Even I know that Pacha's a good guy and all, but I don't know if it's John Goodman or what it is, but he bugs me. I know that a good guy shouldn't bug me, but I literally am like, oh my God, this guy again.
Okay.
He's Frodo. I'm sorry. He's Frodo, and Frodo's annoying.
Frodo Baggins.
Frodo.
I'm going to.
But in Monsters, Inc., he's Gandalf.
In Monsters, Inc., he's Gandalf.
Yeah, John Goodman.
Monsters.
In Monsters, Inc., he's Sully.
Right.
He's not Gandalf.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Now I'm okay. Moving on. It's so confusing.
I didn't understand that at all. Anyways, I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 because it has a lot of childhood nostalgia for me. I really enjoy it. It's funny. Just wish it had better music. That's like my qualm.
Better music, yeah.
Qualms.
I think the music was like composed by a Mr. John Debney.
Which is funny
right?
because the composed music is actually
Yeah, the
pretty
composed
good,
is good.
but then it does not match, like we said, just does not match the soundtracky part of the music.
Yeah, exactly. And good old John Debney, he's done a bunch of other stuff, none of which is coming back to my mind. Oh, he did The Greatest Showman, which just came out.
This is the greatest show. If you haven't seen that, see it.
It's a very good,
Hugh Jackman.
very good musical. And
Hashtag Disney Dad.
Disney
Hugh Jackman.
Dad.
Oh my God.
No,
he's been in
Wolverine.
I don't even think he's been in
He's
it.
Wolverine. I'm counting it. That's a Marvel-owned
I mean,
property.
if we want to get technical, but wasn't it Fox?
It was Fox.
We're not getting into this. Anyways, what are we watching next week? That's the battle song.
yeah, do the
Drum roll, please. You announce it, Andre.
The next movie is Lilo and Stitch.
There's no place I'd rather be. Surfboard out at sea.
That was very
Ring
cute.
ring in the ocean blue.
come true.
I'll surf till the sunset. Wow, we're not harmonizing.
We're watching Lilo and Stitch next week, so open your DVDs up or whatever you got to do.
There's no
Get
way.
your set, your do your stuff.
Come
Set your
on, Lilo and
DVRs.
Stitch is great.
Pop in your DVDs.
Pop it in.
Open your Amazons. Do it.
Find your VHSs.
Find your VHS.
And your
Did it
VCRs.
even come out on VHS? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, that was one of those like borderline movies.
Yeah.
Borderline.
Oh, by the way, listeners, if you go to the WaltVaultPod.com and you look at this episode post, if you click on the picture of the poster, it'll take you to an Amazon link where you can just watch the movie.
Wow.
You can rent it or buy it or whatever you want to do. So
Wow, Andre, you get fancy
That
over
is
there.
cool,
Guys, I'm
Andre.
trying stuff.
Wow,
I
you
like
should
it.
see his face right now. He's real proud of himself.
like
It
trying
looks
stuff
good.
out,
Yeah.
it's like cool or whatever. So do that. WaltVaultPod.com. Bye-bye. Lilo and Stitch. You guys excited?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
You guys ain't even ready. We're gonna go on a Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
All right, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, you guys. That's been it for this episode of The Walt Vault. You know where to find us. We are at The Walt Vault Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Go there. Check us out. We post a lot of fun stuff. Comment on it. You can also comment on thewaltvaultpod.com if you want to. If you want to leave us a direct message about this particular episode. Or you can send us a DM on any one of those social media platforms, and we'll check it out. You can also send us an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. That inbox is very empty, you guys. It's making me very sad and upset. Send me an email. I'd appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you go into iTunes and subscribe. That's where most people can find us. And what?
You creeped me out with that last very empty. Keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, send me an email. Yes, go to iTunes. Leave us a review and a rating. That helps other people find the show and helps us to reach more Disney fans. That's what our goal is here. You can also find us on Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube. We're everywhere. Anywhere that you can get podcasts, hit us up and subscribe. We appreciate it, and we love you. So that's it for now. We'll see you guys next week. The vault is now closed.